to true crime with strategic eyes.
Strategic back again. Listen, I need to get my voice back, man. I feel like I'm killing the intro in a very bad way because I gotta get my voice back. I want to get that you know, that treble, strategic back again, whatever. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. I appreciate you guys for joining me. We were supposed to start a little bit earlier, but I did a members only show and we were having such a good time in the members only section that I had to extend the start time for this show because I didn't want to cut short the great time that we're having in the members only show. So if you're not a member of True Crime and Strategic, you don't know what you're missing. And everybody who's in that chat with a green highlighted name, they'll tell you what you're missing. We have a great time in the members only section. Guys, back again. One more yay. Yes. I got crazy updates for you guys with this D4VD case. And I got to tell you, this case is throwing me for a loop. If you're new to the show, I am an active duty detective. This is what I do for a living, man. I investigate some of the most complex and craziest cases with the most horrible things that human beings do against each other. And with all of that experience, all of that heartache, complication to my life. Don't get me wrong. I love what I do and I get paid very well for what I do. I'm not complaining. This is my raison d'etre, my reason to be. I know I said that terrible. I'm not French, so I don't speak French. Whatever. I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why D4VD is not in jail right now. And the only reason why my investigative brain is telling me that he's not in jail is because they don't know what happened to this girl. Listen, obviously somebody committed at the very base level of crime, which is the crime of desecrating a body, hiding a body, disposing of a body, whatever the crime is in Cali. Every state has a different word for it. We know that happened, okay? Guess what? That's a low-level felony. If you don't have a criminal record, maybe you'll get probation, maybe you get a year or two in prison for that. These people are investigating a homicide. And right now, it has been confirmed by the LAPD that D4VD is not even a suspect.
Oh my God.
And if D4VD is not a suspect, that means they have no suspects because he is the one who at the very least was dating this underage girl. He was dating her. He's a PT file. I don't care how much you like his music. I don't care how much you like his cutesy appearance where he puts black nail polish on, he wears bonnets. Not my cup of tea. I'm a man's man, but hey, I'm just toxic. It is what it is. He's a pedophile. It's not slander. It's not disrespect. He's 20 years old and he's dating a 14-year-old. And there's rumors and there's allegations and there's proof that he might have been dealing with this little girl when she was 11 years old. Okay? But aside from those base level things that we know, that number one, D4VD was dating this girl. It's irrefutable. There's no evidence so far that he took this girl's life. And I think that's why he has not been charged. It's not because he has connections or he's rich or any of that stuff. That stuff doesn't play a part. I guarantee you, LAPD would arrest this guy. It's because they don't have the goods. And they're waiting right now for the toxicology to see if that reveals something. There might be another issue. I don't think they also have an exact time of death, ladies and gentlemen. And because they don't have an exact time to death and D4VD was on tour, he kind of has an alibi. Because you can't say he killed her on Tuesday if he was in San Francisco or if he was in Canada or he's in New York or he's in Zimbabwe on Tuesday giving a performance. That's an alibi. You can't kill somebody if you're on the other side of the world. They can't pinpoint the cause of death. Because they can't pinpoint the cause of death, they can't pinpoint the time of death, and therefore, they can't figure out if D4VD is the one who actually did it. Now, people are saying, well, it's a Tesla. Tesla's got cameras. You can turn those cameras on. You can turn them on, you can turn them off. I got surveillance all around my house. I could easily just turn it off with the Google Earth. I mean, the Google, whatever, Google Home. There we go, Google Home. I can turn it off. If I turn it off, it's not recording. I don't even have to disconnect the power. If I just turn off the cameras, it's not going to record. If he goes into his settings on his Tesla and he turns off the cameras, they're not going to record. Furthermore, the camera system that's actually in the house that he was renting, we find out that that whole house, whole perimeter has cameras, but we also find out that the owner of the house leaves it up to the clients as to whether they want to use the cameras or not, and gives full control and authority and power to the people who are renting for him for the cameras. So that means that as the owner of the house, he has no control over the cameras. He can't review them remotely. He can't access them. He doesn't have the password for them. He gives that full authority to the people who rent the house. So maybe, just maybe, those cameras were turned off too. We don't know what happened, man. We don't know what happened. And so today we're going to explore that and all the other things that's coming out, because on every single day, more things are coming out, but there's a pattern here of what's coming out. We're not getting new information on what may have ended Celeste's life. All we're getting every single day is how much LAPD does not have the goods on D4VD, and how much evidence that exists that D4VD was at the very least a pedophile. Let's jump into this, ladies and gentlemen. This is truly, I dare say truly, a mystery.
Plastic bag. But here's the thing, despite that Tesla being registered to David, despite him apparently renting a property near—
Hold on here, we can't be a savage. We got to be classy about how we move on these YouTube streets. We got to give a big shout out to Sidebar with Jesse Weber, who we're going to be reacting to. Please make sure that you're subscribed to Law and Crime. I don't even have to say that because you're not a true crime watcher if you're not subscribed to Law and Crime. If you're a true crime connoisseur, you're subscribed to Law and Crime. Big shout out to them. They're a big channel, and they allow smaller channels like myself to react to their videos without any copyright issues. Unlike Interscope, where if you play 2 seconds of their video, they're going to demonetize you. They're going to copyright you. So big shout out to Law and Crime. And guys, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, active duty detective here, trying to grow this channel. We're less than 1,200 viewers from 100,000. Less than 1,200 viewers from 100,000. We need you to hit that like button so we can get into the algorithm. We can be shown to a wider audience. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you hit that subscription button right now. Let's keep going.
Where that car was parked, and even despite his alleged connection to the victim, he has not been named as a suspect. He has not been named as a person of interest. He has not been implicated officially in any wrongdoing or any crime. In fact, no one has been named as a suspect so far. In fact, an LAPD commanding officer said it is possible that Celeste wasn't even murdered. That perhaps her death, when we think about it, was it attributed to something else, an accident, overdose? In other words, there is a possibility that the only crime could be someone tried to hide her body.
Wow.
So as we await more—
Does that ring a lot of confidence for you, ladies and gentlemen? There's a possibility D4VD may walk away from this, either A, walking away with having committed murder, or B, walking away because he truly is an innocent person. There's a possibility. The commander said it. We're just bystanders here. With all my experience in law enforcement, I'm still just a bystander. I'm not working this case. I don't know what those detectives are working with. I'm a bystander. You're a bystander. LAPD is telling us this might just be an accidental death. This is crazy. Before we go any further, big shout out to Erin Murphy. Big shout out to Erin Murphy, longtime supporter of the show. We appreciate it. She gave 5 gift memberships to 5 lucky people. Make sure that you thank Erin for her generosity. It's very kind of her. We appreciate you, Erin. Thank you so much. We also had a super chat, $5 super chat from Bev Taylor saying, is there a potential for Celeste's parents to sue LAPD for failure to arrest, at least for harboring contributed to a minor's delinquency? Now, this is a really good question because if anything, I mean, I don't know if they could be suing. Because I think that the people who failed Celeste the most is her parents. So I don't want to hear nothing from these parents about suing anything, because if you look at all the information we've gotten so far, these people are the ones who failed Celeste the most. Celeste would be alive right now if she actually had decent parents who cared about her and gave her some structure in her life. So I don't want to hear about them suing. Celeste needs to come from the grave and sue them. They failed her. But listen, if they can find that there's some type of deficiency in LAPD's investigation, and sure, maybe they can, but this investigation is not done. I think it's too premature to say that. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what's going on, man. This is truly a mystery. That's a really good question, Bev. Thank you so much for the super chat and for the question. Krista Van Torenberg, with $5 super says, was there ever clarification if she was dismembered? Do you think he will get away with no charges? There's no clarification yet whether she was dismembered or not, at least to my knowledge. We will look into that, but to my knowledge, there's no clarification. Let's keep going. And Kathy Pentecost from Great Britain said she sent one free gift membership. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for that gift membership. Whoever got that membership, make sure that you thank Kathy Pentecost. Let's keep going.
Or testing, like toxicology reports. We know that the medical examiner performed an autopsy on Celeste's remains, determined that she was not pregnant, nor had she been pregnant in the last year. That's important because there's been speculation that there could have been some sort of sexual relationship between David and this young girl. He's 20 years old right now. And as more and more rumors spread about David's alleged potential involvement, he has canceled his music tour, which was supposed to include more stops in the U.S., also abroad. He appears to have gone off the grid. We don't know where he is. His social media pages kind of void of new videos and photographs. But there is this.
He should be arrested for wearing those bonnets, though. Come on. That is illegal.
This is new. LA Magazine now reports that David has hired a prominent celebrity defense attorney, Blair Burke. Now, she has represented very high-profile clients: Harvey Weinstein, CeeLo Green, Bruno Mars, Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan. She also, by the way, most recently represented Monica Cementelli, the Los Angeles mom who was sentenced to life in prison for the 2017 murder of her celebrity hairstylist husband, Fabio Cementelli. So to talk about this, to talk about the implications of the...
She's a heavy hitter, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not get it twisted. She is a heavy hitter. Let's keep going.
These new details, particularly hiring a defense attorney, let's bring in our own criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor, Matt Mangino. To be clear, Matt doesn't represent us in a criminal arena, but we love having him on. He's a great guest. Matt, it's really good to see you. So a lot of online sleuths in the true crime community, they are obsessed with this case. They are digging into David's past internet activity, his posts that are either with Celeste, believed to be with her, believed to be about her. There's been a lot of reaction to his hiring of Blair Burke. Before we even get into what the reaction is online.
All right, real quick. Kalisa Katz says, SF investigators showed the high-powered cameras from the neighbors that covered the entire street, time-stamped, and many with sound. No excuse for LAPD not knowing exactly what happened. But this is the other thing, guys. You know, I got to tap into my investigator brain. SF, I didn't see this for myself. So I don't know what SS investigators showed and what he didn't show. I only know what you're saying, Celeste. I mean, Kalissa, my apology. Kalissa Katz. You can have the best cameras on the planet covering the entire area. The problem is, were those cameras recording during the incident? That's number one. Because I've done a million investigations where I'm looking at places that have casino-style cameras. And when you hear somebody say casino-style cameras, that means the best cameras on the planet, because everybody knows casinos have the most high-resolution cameras on the planet. That doesn't mean they were working during the incident time, number one. Number two, the more high resolution your cameras are, the less storage you have, because every single day and moment that you record, you're putting tons of data on your hard drive. So even if you have a 2 terabyte or 3 terabyte camera storage system, if you have 1080p or 4K cameras, you might only get a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks worth of stored data. So if she was in that car for 2, 3, 4 weeks, some people say she was in that car for over a month, they may not be able to retrieve that footage. So it doesn't matter how good the cameras are on that street. And don't get me wrong, I imagine in that affluent community, they probably had the best camera systems on the planet. But will they have footage retained from the incident date and time? That's what matters, ladies and gentlemen. That's what matters. Now, maybe they do, and if they do, great. We could solve this case, or we could get some better insight into this case. But if they don't, then it means nothing. Let's keep going.
Your thoughts on him apparently, reportedly, retaining Blair Burke?
Well, that's a good decision. Anytime your name starts swirling around in a criminal investigation, even though the police have made it clear that he's not a suspect at this point, it's always a good idea to hire an attorney. Before you talk to anybody, before the police come out and talk to you or ask to talk to you, have an attorney in place, have someone who can try to control the narrative at least, because of course he is a celebrity and his wealth and his resources come from his celebrity status. And so you want to protect that as well. And so a criminal defense attorney, someone particularly who's represented other people who were celebrities, can be very helpful in this very important time.
Why do it now? Why do it now? This is after, by the way, that Celeste was ID'd. This was after.
He's asking a question, but the answer is simple. I haven't seen this before. To be honest with you, I've been so busy this weekend, I've not reviewed any of this. We've compiled this stuff, and we're going to be reacting to this raw. The answer is simple. Of course, D4VD needs to have an attorney. Number one, his personal life is being exposed that he was involved in this with this A minor. Channeling my inner Kendrick Lamar. So he needs an attorney just for that bare minimum right there. Number two, elephant in the room, Celeste in the trunk. Now, whether he's innocent or guilty of Celeste being in the trunk, in my opinion, he's not innocent of messing with Celeste. In my opinion. But I don't know if he's guilty of killing Celeste. I have to keep that open mind. So he's innocent till proven guilty on taking Celeste's life. Whether he's innocent or guilty, he needs to have an attorney. Absolutely 1,000%. To me, him getting an attorney does not mean he's guilty. Him getting an attorney means that he's smart and he's taking the proper precautions to protect and reserve his rights. Let's keep going.
Apparently, the property he was renting was searched by law enforcement. They reportedly confiscated some materials. This is after he canceled his tour. This is, after the death certificate was published. Why now?
Well, I think, let's be honest. I mean, this is kind of a strange situation. There's no question there's a connection between him and this teenage girl, very young. Her body is found in his car. He has a place, or his manager has a place nearby where he may have been staying. We can't ignore the lyrics of some of his music, which are eerily close to what the facts of this case are. Now, prosecutors are not going to.
Dude gave us a music video of him putting a body in a trunk, bro. He gave us a music video of putting a body in a trunk. He said he killed his girlfriend and he doesn't feel bad about it. I'm paraphrasing. Come on. Then he had body doubles that looked just like Celeste. This guy was obsessed. And now she's in the trunk, melting away in the California sun. Something got to give, man. LAPD, what's going on, baby? What is going on?
File homicide charges until they know the cause and manner of death. And, as your viewers, Jesse, know that this could be an accidental death. It could have been a suicide. It's unlikely that it's natural causes. But the question is it?
Wait, why can't these dudes just let these girls grow up? Just let her become a woman. Let her grow up. Like, what is wrong with people? Subjecting to these children to these adult themes and adult situations. Just let them be kids. Let them grow up. Shame on this dude. I look at this girl and I don't see a beautiful woman. I see a baby. I see a baby. Just disgusting. At the very least, D4VD. If you don't get charged with the murder of this girl, because guess what? I'm not the lynch mob. I don't want anybody to go to jail for something they did not do. But at the very least, if he was on tour and she died and one of his assistants put her in the trunk by accident, or she just climbed in the trunk to take a nap because she was high on something, I don't know. The world is filled with infinite possibilities. At the very least, you should be ashamed of yourself for taking this little girl's innocence. And some of the rumors that we hear is that she was not that innocent because she had a troubled life. And before D4VD, when she was 10 years old, allegedly, she was dating a 19-year-old. These are some of the rumors we hear. And that 19-year-old ended up dying under whatever circumstances. I don't know. And then after that, she met D4DD and they started dating allegedly at 11 years old. Whatever. At the very least, bro, you should be ashamed of yourself for messing with a girl this young. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be sad. You need to get help. You need to mess with women your own age. And maybe they'll help you grow up and take that bonnet off your head and no nail polish off your hands and actually teach you how to be an actual man. Because only a little girl will let all that stuff fly. But anyway, I'm talking out my booty. Let me keep going.
Homicide and what was the cause of death. Once those two things are answered, I think this investigation, really picks up some steam.
Talking law here, you know who, by the way, are experts in litigation? Our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. This is America's largest injury law firm. This is a firm with over 1,000 attorneys. You know why they have so many?
All right, let me skip through that. Somebody's so smart. They said, Colo SF, I don't know how to say your name. You guys be having the crazy names. Whatever happened in Frank 1234, Sally Sue 998. Colo SF said he killed her. He's bringing a coffin around with him, and the stage looks like a funeral with white roses. He's a goofy. You're 100% correct. Everything about this guy's persona is murder and death. His music is, I'm killing all my girlfriends. He's got coffins and stuff outside of his concerts. He's got the white flowers, and we actually spoke about those white flowers. Not only are they white funeral flowers, but they're all drooping. Every single one of those roses are hanging over like this, like they're dead. Everything about this guy is death. Death. Obsession, like they said in the chat, and death. But LAPD said they don't got no leads, man. He's innocent till proven guilty. Come on. Let's keep going.
In the scenes. In other words, most people think criminal defense attorney, once you're arrested, right? Once you're indicted, once you're charged, once the criminal process starts, that's when you hire a defense attorney. What could she be doing behind the scenes now? Could she be back-channeling communications with her sources, potential sources,
it's
with
CeeLo
law
Green.
Enforcement, the prosecutor's office, seeing whether or not charges
CeeLo Green. See, he always look weird to me.
are afoot?
We look alike. I'm laughing at him. I'm laughing at myself. Jesus Christ, I look like CeeLo Green a little bit. Let's keep going.
Could she be trying to tell them what her client is up to? Could she be releasing a statement? Should we expect a statement from her in the next few days?
Yeah, well, so, a seasoned, experienced criminal defense attorney has a lot of contacts. So you have people in the prosecutor's office that you have relationships with, whether they be attorneys or detectives. You have people in the police department that you've had long-time relationships with. What you want to do, at this point is get the lay of the land. I mean, what direction is this going in? What are they looking at? We know that his home was searched, I believe. And so you want to know what was found there if, in fact, they want to share. Also, maybe this is a situation where the most serious charge is going to be, abuse of a corpse or illegal disposal of a body. Well, now you want to try to control that narrative and begin to say, hey, my client has nothing to do with this, whatever the situation may be. So you want to know, knowledge is key in this situation. Intelligence, what can I find out so that I can protect my client, not only from criminal prosecution, but the public scrutiny that may come with all this.
All right, so we'll stop that there. We're going to go to the next one. Real quick, though, I do want to pronounce the person's name correctly. Kalohi says that it's Hawaiian, pronounced Kalohe. but no problem at True Crime Strategic. You guys know I just be cracking jokes with you guys in jest. I do understand we have an international audience. Of course, Hawaii is not international. That is a state of the United States of America. But we do have an international audience. And of course, people are going to name themselves according to their culture, etc. So I'm just cracking jokes. I'm having a good time. I'm trying to make light out of some of these horrible situations. It's just part of my personality. Maybe it's the way I cope with the trauma of what I do on a day-to-day basis, being a ex-crimes investigator. But it's all love, and I never want to offend anybody. And Kalohe did not say they were offended. But I just want to let you know, Kalohe, I do respect your culture, and I do appreciate you, and it's all love. All right, so we'll go over to the next one, which is Ashley Banfield. And she's going to break down a few things for us. Love Ashley Banfield. Big shout out to her channel. She's going to talk about the family. We're going to get some insight to the family and their legality in this country. And listen, we're not trying to play politics. I know illegal immigrants and stuff like that is a hot button on in our politics right now. But I think it does matter because it kind of talks about why or why not they were not as involved in this little girl as we would like to see, which allowed her to fall into the hands of D4VD, aka Mr. Pedophile. I don't know. Allegedly, that is. So let's jump into that right now.
Now back to the case. I want you to take a listen to what this neighbor had to say about Celeste Rivas Hernandez and her family, because this neighbor lives right next door.
The first time I saw her, she was walking down the street early in the morning. It was during the colder months, I remember. It was just a 1 second. I was driving down the street and I saw her like big, beautiful curls. And I'm like, oh, that little girl's so pretty. And then I just went on my way. But that was probably like maybe 6 months before she went missing the first time in February 2024. And then I saw her, well, I didn't see her again. I heard her again when she came in through the apartments. But yeah, I didn't know she was the missing child from next door. I have lived here since February of 2023, so almost 3 years. I've never met the family. I don't know their names. I don't know how many people live there. I just know there was a lot of cars parked out usually, at least 5 cars in the driveway, most of the time, most of the days. But I don't know who the family is. My backyard peers into their backyard, and I can also see their driveway, the front yard. I've never heard or seen police officers at their house. At any time, I think I would have noticed that, unless it was late at night.
Now listen, from my understanding, the police were called to her house at least 11 times. So listen, this lady's saying what she observed. She's in no way not being honest. We don't know that. But she's telling what she observed. The thing is that you're going about your life, you're living your life, and so you're not going to observe everything. If the police are coming because there's a disturbance, they're not going to come lights and sirens. You know, they're going to show up, they're going to park, and they're going to come and they're going to talk to the person and then they're going to leave. You know, not all domestic disturbances result in an arrest. So the police might very well be parked in front of the house, and because your house is behind her house, you won't be able to see that the police are there. But she's telling what she observed. But my understanding is that it's been proven that the police have gone to that house at least 11 times, which is a lot. That's a lot, okay? It's really a lot. That being said, we had 430 people watching. We're down to 386. It happens like that. It fluctuates. We're just going to ask that you guys please hit that like button. Please hit the like button, support the channel. It's not easy doing what we're doing, and we need the likes to tell YouTube that this is worthwhile content so that it can get pushed out to a wider audience. So please understand that that's a very important part of what we're asking for you as viewers, okay? Hit that like button. Let's keep going.
I was asleep, but I never noticed any police activity at Celeste's home. So the video circulating with Celeste coming into the apartments being a little upset, that video was only released to pinpoint her timeline of her missing. And that's the only reason why it was released, because on September 8th, 2024, she was technically still missing.
There were actually a few Banfield producers who spent most of the day in Celeste's neighborhood, the same neighborhood that Celeste could not wait to leave. I want you to have a look as they lay out the key locations that actually are important in this story. Here they are pointing out those locations in her neighborhood.
Celeste was a frequent customer at this liquor store. The cashier tells us she appeared often after school with friends and alone. She also appeared one time on security camera footage after she had been reported missing. And we thought that was the last time we had seen Celeste. But just up the street is the house where she appeared later on security camera footage arguing with her neighbors. This is the property where Celeste was seen arguing on surveillance footage with her neighbors after being reported missing. But despite that argument, just next door is Celeste Memorial. It's grown in recent days. You can see the candles there and the poster board there and this new banner bearing her face. And just next door to this memorial is Celeste's home, which we now hear that police came to 11 different times for disturbances.
One of the owners of the liquor store told my...
First of all, before she continues, that was awesome that they gave us that walkthrough. That was one of the first walkthroughs that I've seen to really give us a gauge of how the community is laid out. And there's a mixture apparently of both single family houses and many apartments. So there's a mixture in that community. And that's huge. That's really huge. So, and it also gave us some kind of insight into the distance from where her house is and where the liquor store is, where she was caught walking past when allegedly she got into the car with D4VD. Let's keep going.
Producers that they had seen the police headed in the direction of Celeste's home on multiple occasions. But they couldn't confirm if the police actually stopped there. They just saw them going by in the direction of Celeste's house. Celeste lives just down the street, as you heard. Celeste's parents have not been seen at that home since her body was identified. And they've only spoken publicly once. If you have followed this storyline, if you have been online and read the headlines, you have probably seen a lot of the speculation that Celeste's mother or her father or both of them are undocumented immigrants. And
okay, here we go. I don't know the answer to this. I don't know. From what I heard, the father got deported to El Salvador. That's what I heard. That's the information I got. Let's see what Ashley has to say about this.
That's the reason they've gone under the radar, that they've gone underground, maybe even fled the country. But I can now report to you that both of her parents are in the United States legally. My producers at News Nation were able to get that information exclusively today. The records that were acquired by a private investigator named Steve Fisher show that both of those parents received Social Security numbers back around 2001. The Banfield producers on the ground also...
No. That's not accurate. No disrespect to Ashley Banfield, but that doesn't mean anything. Remember, 2001. And we're not going to talk about politics, but you know, I got to say that because you have to understand that politics is policy, right? Remember, in 2001, when they were giving people work visas and work permission to work while their processes were going through. I'm not saying that this family in any way is a part of that. This family might just be American citizens, right? With whatever status they have. Obviously, they're not born here because they just got Social Securities in 2001. But the previous administration was giving people Social Securities so that they could work while they were going through their proceedings in immigration. Many of those people who currently have Social Securities are still being deported to this day because having a Social Security does not mean that you're an American citizen. Once you're given permission to work in America, you are issued a Social Security. Now, that Social Security number could be temporary if for whatever reason your ability to work is revoked. Maybe your asylum claim is denied, maybe your visa is denied, whatever. But just by virtue of a private investigator finding a Social Security number for these two people does not mean that they are legal, lawful citizens who are here permanently. So the words I should say, it does not mean that they are permanent residents. Now, once again, I am in no way hoping that they're not legal. I don't care. I am just saying that I don't believe that that is factually correct. As much as I love Miss Banfield and I look up to her as a YouTuber, I don't believe that just the very notion of saying, hey, they have social securities means that they're permanent residents in America. It doesn't mean that. Social security does not equal permanent residency. I just want you guys to understand that. Okay, let's keep going.
Spoke with another woman who didn't want to be on camera, but she said that she's a former neighbor of the family. She said they all lived in public housing together from 2019 to 2020. She said that she occasionally heard Celeste's parents arguing, and often they were arguing about custody of the children, though there doesn't seem to be any indication that they're divorced. The woman said that Celeste was a very sweet little girl, and that stuck out to me because guess who else said
Hold
that?
on, I'm going to bring that back because I was reading the comments section, and so I didn't digest what this lady is saying, and it's very important what she's saying. And somebody in the chat was like, well, who cares? It does matter. And I'm really trying to impress upon you guys to stop thinking with your emotions and start thinking as detectives. Every detail matters. Every detail matters. Why does it matter if somebody's a citizen or not? Well, if somebody's not a citizen, they might be fearful to call police because they might think they might get deported. And that might be a reason why. So we're sitting here saying that the mother and the father were bad parents because they weren't taking care of their daughter. Maybe they were fearful that they would get deported and they didn't want to interact with police that much. Now, some people would say that's not an excuse, but for some other people, that might be an excuse. So it does matter. Maybe they're more vulnerable because D4VD knows that they're not citizens because he's talking to this minor, and maybe he's using that against them and he's extorting them for that. We don't know. All details matter in these type of cases. You put your ideology and you put your politics to the side when you're a detective, and you look for every single detail and every single angle. And that is what I'm trying to teach you guys on this channel, True Crime with Strategic. I never want to hear you say a detail doesn't matter, because every single detail matters. And if you learn that from me and you internalize that, watch how better your life in general will get when you start digesting all information, irregardless of whether it aligns with your personal ideology or not. I want to give you that gift because I've embraced that gift and it has turned me into a great detective. Let's keep going.
The liquor store owner said she used to come into the store all the time and buy chips and candy and gum like a little girl does. Even a 13-year-old little girl does. And that liquor store owner described her as very sweet and, quote, not a wild child. That's what he said about Celeste. The neighbor also said that Celeste's mom would keep her close at all times. I guess that was until that final missing report in April of 2024. And that's where we're going to have to leave it for this episode. Nothing about this case adds up. Except for one.
All right, great job, man. But that's good information. So it looks like Celeste wasn't, she might have been a troubled teen trying to get away from her home, but there are a lot of troubled teens that show other, much more troubling things: drugs, alcohol, partying, promiscuity. I can't even speak. Promiscuity, whatever, all that stuff. It doesn't seem like she fit that mold. It seemed like she was a good kid. So when LAPD is saying that there's a possibility she may have done a drug overdose or something, that could be the reason why she died, it doesn't fit the mold of what people knew of Celeste. Celeste wasn't known to use drugs. Celeste wasn't known, to be this troubled kid that's going out there doing bad things. All right, so she had boyfriends. Okay. All right. A lot of kids date when they're young. I think it's too young for her to be dating, but that's not a crime. That doesn't mean she's a bad person. There's nobody who says that Celeste is the type of person who engaged in negativity. I don't know. Let's go to the next exhibit we got for you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. We do appreciate you. And please do make sure you hit that like button as we go down this journey. We're more with Ashley Banfield. This time it's not on her personal channel. This time she's on News Nation. Let's listen to it.
Begin with police action, a lot of it, in the story of a rising superstar named David and his dead underage girlfriend named Celeste Rivas Hernandez. We have heard it before, and we heard it again just last night, that Celeste ran away from...
So this one is all the police contact that happened at this home. All right, let's hear what she has to say about this.
Her family again and again for a reason. Reports said that the girl's home life was troubled. Her middle school boyfriend, before she ran off with David, said that her mother treated her badly and that she often talked about running away. And now TMZ has the receipts of repeated police visits to Celeste's family home in Lake Elsinore, California, 70 miles away from the Hollywood Hills, where Celeste sought refuge in David's mansion. TMZ has learned that the Riverside...
First of all, just want to say, just think about the position that this girl is in, all right? We know that the relationship is wrong, right? We know that D4VD, by engaging in a relationship with this young girl, was being a pedophile. We know that. But think about Celeste in her position, right? Young, immature girl. Everybody's saying, I'm not saying it, this is what the ex-boyfriend is saying, this is what people are saying, that this was a troubled home. Think about the choice that this girl had. Stay home in a home that people are describing as a troubled home, or go live in the Hollywood Hills with somebody that you look up to, somebody who is a budding superstar, not a budding star, but a budding superstar. He had an amazing career ahead of him, and he already had millions in his bank account. He had millions in his bank account from TikTok. And then he signed a contract that some people are saying are worth up to $6 million. $6 million. This guy is rich. So stay home in the ghetto of Lake Elsinore, or go live in the Hollywood Hills. Think about the pressure that was on this little girl. Think about it. It's really sad. She didn't really have much options. Keep
County
going.
Sheriff's Department responded to calls about Celeste's family or from Celeste's family about 11 times in a little over a year. The dates are February 2024 to April 2025. And remember, the family reported Celeste missing for the last time in April of 2024. So those calls continued for a year while she was ostensibly missing.
All right, real quick. Foxy Amazon celebrating 12 months as a patrol member. We really appreciate it. She says a ITIN assigned, not a SSN, if you're not a U.S. citizen. Right. So if you're not a citizen, they give you those work permits, that Internal Revenue number. It's not a social. But my point is, it looks exactly like a social. It's not like it's a 20-digit number and the social is a what? How much digits is a social number? 9 numbers, I guess, is a social security number. They're the same exact looking number. So I don't know if this private investigator who's looking up sees these numbers and is like, oh, they got a social. I don't know. I'd have to know what this guy's report is and what his sources are. But it's very easy for somebody to misconstrue a social security number with a work permit number, with an Internal Revenue number. They look exactly the same. So that's the point that I'm trying to make, and I really appreciate Foxy for drawing that clarification as well. Let's keep going.
And until this week, we believed that April of 2024 was the last time that they'd seen each other, right? Celeste and her family. But now we know different. And I'm going to come back to that in a hot minute. All of the police visits were listed as, quote, minor crime investigation, except for one of them. And that one was described as, quote, suspicious circumstances. Again, no details available from the police.
Wow.
But the dates of these calls speak volumes.
Talk to me, Ashley.
3 of the calls happened on one day, March 19th, 2024, which, by the way, yeah, that's the day that Celeste ran away. She was caught on surveillance camera in a neighborhood liquor store, running down the street at 7 a.m. A black car was seen pulling out after her, but it's not clear if Celeste had gotten into it. This was just something that happened that the liquor store owner saw, but it wasn't caught on tape. 2 of the 3 visits that day were to Celeste's home. Cops came to her home 2 times, but the 3rd visit that police made was to that liquor store. Celeste's sister also visited that liquor store on that day and asked to review that surveillance video. One of the other police visits that TMZ documented was at 9:29
So
p.m.
if the police went to the liquor store the same day that the sister went to the liquor store, and the sister spoke to the police about the video surveillance. I mean, the sister spoke to the liquor store owner about the video surveillance, and that's how the liquor store owner was able to find the video of Celeste rounding the corner, going up the street, and presumably getting into somebody's car, most likely D4VD car. Then I have no other reason but to presume that the police also got the video, the same video that we have right now that liquor store provided to TMZ and other news outlets, is the same video that they also, that the police have. So the police had to know. They had to know that she was with D4VD the entire time. Let's keep going though. Guys, hit that like button, support the channel. We have over 500 people right now on the stream. Only 287 likes. Come on, help me out here. Hit the like button, come on.
On April 5th, 2024. That time is about a half hour after the family reported her missing to the police for the very last time. So they report her missing at 9 p.m. and at 9:30 the police are at their door. Officially, Celeste was still missing when her badly decomposed remains were found here in this impound lot in the front trunk of David's Tesla. This was 23 days ago. But was Celeste really still missing without a trace at this point? The other day, TMZ acquired video of Celeste in her parents' backyard on September 8th of 2024. That's 5 months after she supposedly ran off for the last time. And it's also one day after her 14th birthday. Amazingly, the coincidence here is that it was 1 year to the day that her remains were discovered in David's trunk.
Right.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.
Crazy, man. Crazy. So that kind of breaks down the police contact that this young woman had. I mean, we on this train, man. We trying to figure this out, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the train. Let's keep going. There's no evidence. There is no evidence in Celeste's case despite D4VD link, defense attorney. Let's keep going.
As we speak, especially now that we know Blair Burke is on the team.
He better be shutting his mouth. He better be absolutely quiet. He better be at home, wherever he is, doing nothing, not going anywhere, not talking to anybody, and just doing everything that she tells him to do, which is just sit there until I tell you what to do.
But what about the full download? Is this attorney saying, David, I need to know every single movement? Or is this attorney saying, don't tell me, I don't want to know, I just need to do my job?
Personally, I never ask until I need to, because that's not the point. The question is, what is the evidence that they have? What is the evidence that's out there? And I don't ever want to, there may be something that my client says that isn't in the realm of evidence, not because that they're guilty. A lot of times I have clients who tell me, I wasn't there, I didn't do this. And I say, hold on, I don't even want to know, because within the facts that they are giving to me, this already is not provable. So I don't want you to clutter my brain with what they have, because already within this universe, I can defeat these charges. So don't.
My question is, do these clients ever say I'm guilty? Like, does the pedophile, does the murderer, the schmurderer, does the drug dealer, do they ever say like, yeah, man, I did it, but this is how we could prove I didn't do it. This is how we could lie and say I didn't do it. These impossible alibis I could tell you that could prove that I didn't do it, but I did it. Like, yeah, like I don't know, because I've never spoken to a defense attorney like this. In fact, we had a defense attorney. I might want to reach out there and ask her what she thinks about it. She's a pretty good defense attorney too. But how'd they ever admitted it? Like did D4VD sit with this lady and say, man, listen, yeah, I was diddling that teen. I was diddling that preteen. I did it. I did it. I'm a pedophile through and through, but I didn't kill her. I was on tour at the time. I don't know who killed her. I think Billy B killed her, but I didn't do it. I diddled her. I did do that. I'm guilty of the diddling, but I'm my mentor is P. Diddy. I grew up watching P. Diddy. Take that. I'm P. Diddy Jr. I'm R. Kelly Jr. I'm P. Diddy Jr., but I didn't kill her. Do they ever admit it to their defense attorneys? That's a question I have, guys. Do they ever admit it to their defense attorney? I don't know. Let's keep going. Oh, my fault. Super chat, real quick. Foxy Amazon, she's the immigration expert of the channel. $2 super chat says, both 9 digits long, but ITIN always starts with a 9. So if you didn't know it, you know it now. Those work permit numbers start with a 9. Let's keep going.
Don't clutter my brain. I'm working on what the evidence is because they have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And if they can't, that's all I need.
So do you think it's possible that, I mean, here we are going on a month.
Okay. So LAW, I believe she works in law. I believe she's either attorney or paralegal or something like that. Tell me if I'm wrong, LAW. But she says defense attorneys don't want to know if they admitted to the defense attorney, the attorney cannot fairly represent you because it would be considered unethical. Are you sure? I don't know. Because I feel like even if a person is guilty, they are still entitled to a defense. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just never heard that before. Then she follows and says they can't get up and call you to the stand to testify if they know you're going to lie about your involvement. Maybe that makes sense. Oh, maybe that does make sense because you would be perjuring yourself. You would be perjuring yourself. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, we learn stuff every day. We absolutely learn stuff every day, man. Thank you. I gotta say, I got one of the smartest audiences on YouTube. How do I know? Because I share you guys with a whole bunch of other great YouTubers. Anyway, let's keep going.
Right, and radio silence from the LAPD. No suggestion that this guy is a suspect or a person of interest. Is it a tactic to keep things quiet and allow the target to?
I take that back. She says I'm not a lawyer. She said I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a psychologist. Yeah, she's a quack. I know you've been with the show for a long time and we love you, but you're still a quack. Take that back. Let's keep going.
And is now free to roam about the cabin and talk to anyone he wants.
I mean, you never know why they're doing what they're doing. You never know what the state of their investigation is. But I think the LAPD, especially in cases like this, where you've had these cases long time ago where you find these women dismembered and horrible situations, and the LAP just really did not know what to do with these investigations. I think that their PR and their attorneys are telling them to be quiet too. They just don't have enough information to give any kind of information out into the public. So I think that if you're an attorney for the LAPD, if you're an attorney for the city of Los Angeles, you guys say absolutely nothing. You say nothing until you know exactly what's happening. And in this case, I cannot imagine that there's ever going to be a point where we know exactly what happened.
I'll say you don't usually see a Tesla like this as beat up as it is. It's marked all over the spoiler with marks, white marks, and it's got a big dent in it. You don't typically see it sitting in a Hollywood Hills neighborhood that has like super expensive topiaries right beside it, It's just sort of a confounding sight. But I am curious about the toxicology. Do you think that that's the linchpin to all of this, that either they're waiting on the toxicology still weeks and weeks later, or they have every ability to put it at the front of the line when it's a high profile case?
Well, before she answers that, man, toxicologies take a long time. I don't really deal with toxicologies because I don't investigate murders, but I do deal with drug facilitated kits. These are kits that are taken alongside sexual assault kits when a person says that they believe that they may have been drugged or something like that. And, I'll get the results from my SOC kits. That's what we call them, SOC kits, SOECK kits. I'll get the results from my SOC kits anywhere from 30 to 90 days. And it'll take 6 months for me to get the results back from drug facilitated kits. So I imagine it's the same process. They take blood from, the victim for the drug facilitated. They take swabs, they take urine, they take all that stuff that goes into those kits. I imagine it's the same type of serology that they're using to test for toxicologies from dead bodies. It takes a long time. And somebody says 4 to 8 weeks. That's not accurate. I don't know what your expertise is, but the reason why it's not accurate is because it's not just how long the test takes for it to come back with results. It's also the backlog. So the scientific processes may just take 4 to 8 weeks for them to actually complete the tests. But you got to worry about all the other tests that are waiting to be tested. And that is what actually results in how long it takes for you to get these results back. If you guys hear any drilling or anything in the background, there is some work being done on the house. We had some emergency repairs on my front door that needs to be done. So they're working on installing a new door. So if you hear any drills or anything, I hear them down here. Maybe you might not hear it because we do have like sound isolating on the mic. But if you hear it, please forgive me. But like I said, it's the backlog that matters. There was a time where we had a backlog on sock kits and I could not get results on serious X crimes for 6 months. One of my cases, rape in the first degree, it took 8 months for me to get the results back. And the perpetrator was walking around for 8 months. I knew who he was. I knew where he's at. He literally did this to this woman. It's an open and active case, so I can't talk about it. But it took us a year to arrest him because we could not get the results back from the sock kit. When we did get the results were chilling. It really was chilling. Every orifice of her body had this man's DNA. She was not conscious when this stuff happened. And I don't know if it was a fetish for him, but he deposited his in every orifice of her body. I'm not exaggerating. Ears, nose, mouth, everywhere. That's enough of that. Let's keep going.
I think they have the ability to rush it. They have the ability to put it to the front of the line. Absolutely. But again, I think the more information the LAPD puts out piecemeal, the worse it is for them. They just absolutely should not be doing that. They would be insane to give out pieces of information when they don't have an entire theory of prosecution.
Big question here. There's 2 issues, and not the least of which.
Whoa! Somebody made a good comment in the chat. Somebody said they couldn't put a rush on it. This was known to, so this doesn't have priority over the homicides. Because remember, it all goes to one lab. Remember that, people. There's no special lab for X assaults. It all goes to the same lab. The burglaries, the murders, the smurders, all that goes to the same lab, you know? So an X crime does not get precedent over a smurder. The smurder is more of a priority than the X crime. And if you're known to, then the public is not at risk. You were at risk. You were the intended target. You were the person that person wanted to do that to. That person is not necessarily a danger to pulling a random stranger off the streets. So in that particular case, they were known to each other. They were friends. They had dated. And that's why we could not put a rush over all of the other homicides or the stranger X assaults that were happening, just to give you clarification on the pecking order of these things. Let's keep going. Terrible case, but is that perpetrator a danger to everybody else out there? And the answer is no. Let's keep going.
Which is that this is an underage girl, did not make her 15th birthday. She spent it rotting in that trunk. Is it possible that there'll be no charges at all in this case? No murder, no sex charges, no underage crimes with children? Like, what do you see coming out of this, at the very least?
What is the evidence that we have that any crime occurred? Well, we know that there's a body in a trunk. But what evidence do we have connecting David to any actual crime? She told her friends that he was that they were in a relationship. What does that mean? She left her house. That was a very, very troubled situation. How do we know that he had anything to do with that? There's no evidence against this man for any crime that I can see.
How about witnesses? Because the friends of David spoke with TMZ and they all held out that they...
All right, let me just clarify, because I'm on YouTube and I am a professional and I want people misconstruing my words, because people like to come back and edit and clip what you say and all that stuff. So Mary Hubbard says, so you're telling me somebody that grapes somebody is not a danger to any other woman? That's crazy. I didn't say that. And if it came out that way, that's not what I meant to say. What I clearly meant to say was that there's a pecking order because we have limited resources. So who's more dangerous? Let's use common sense, people. Who's more dangerous? If your husband grapes you and you said no, and he grapes you, he takes it. He is a criminal and he's a rapist. It doesn't matter if he's your husband or not. Is he more, should your case get more precedent in the lab? I'm not making the decisions. If I could do it, I'd take all the money we're spending on jet planes and missiles and invest it in criminal justice. Is that person more of a priority to the lab than the serial rapist that's walking down the street, grabbing women, random women into alleyways and assaulting them? Who is more, if you have limited resources, which kid are you going to test first? The serial rapist or the person who's your husband who did that to you when you said no? It's just common sense, okay? Unfortunately, with limited resources, these type of decisions have to be made. Unfortunately, these decisions have to be made. They're ugly choices, but they're choices that have to be made. And it sounds horrible. It feels horrible. If I had the ability to change it, I would change it. But unfortunately, that's the way that the world works. If somebody breaks into your house and they rob your house and they steal from your house, and when they broke the glass to go into your house, they cut themselves, and we have DNA. What are we going to test first? The DNA on a gun for a drive-by shooting that shot and killed an 8-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 90-year-old? Or are we going to test the person who broke into your house and stole your flat screen TV? Yeah, that's messed up. Somebody stole your flat screen TV. We want to solve that case. We will solve that case. But I think that the priority would be for the DNA on the gun that killed 5 people. I think that that's more of a priority. That's how this world works. That's the reality of the world. I just want to make that clear so nobody clips what I have to say 5 years from now and make it seem like I don't care about victims. It is not my choice. I am simply explaining to you how the process works. A process I don't have the power or the authority to influence. I don't have the authority to make a lab prioritize a case. I don't. And I advocate for my victims all the time. I'll call the lab up like, please, can we put a rush? And you know what they do? They call my supervisor and tell me to stop calling them because that's not how it works, and I should not be pressuring lab assistants. That's what happens in the 3 or 4 times that I've called down there to try and get a rush on it. They tell me I don't have the authority, and they don't tell me. They go, okay. And then they call my boss and have my boss chew me out. Obviously, I don't listen because I still called 3 other times. But they have my boss chew me out because I don't have the authority. I don't have that power. I'm just telling you how it works. Let's keep going.
They were a couple. They held themselves out as a couple. She said that she was 19 and a college kid, and they were absolutely romantic.
Proving my point, if he thought that she was overage, then it's not a crime. But what does...
Oh, that's not true. Ignorance of the law. You can't have a relationship with an underage girl and say, well, she told me she was 19.
Hire me if that ever happens. Because I think you can.
Thank you for watching.
All right, hold on here,
Subscribe
because
below and
I think she made a really good point that I made before. People are saying that she was saying she's 19 and how can you get mad at D4VD? I think she makes a point that I made. I didn't hear that though because I was reading the chat.
Hire me if that ever
Hold on,
happens.
go back.
And they were absolutely romantic.
Proving my point, if he thought that she was overage, then it's not a crime. But what does...
Oh, that's not true. Ignorance of the law. You can't have a relationship with an underage girl and say, well, she told me she was 19.
No, you can't.
Hire me if that ever happens.
All right, well, you could get hired by a lot of dudes and you could lose a lot of cases. Because guess what? I'm not an attorney, but I bring these cases. And the people I'm bringing is getting convicted. That is not a defense. It is not a defense that you did not know that the girl was underage. Otherwise, all these pervert dudes will be walking around with 16 and 15-year-old girlfriends and say, oh, I didn't know. Come on. All of our daughters will be in danger if you could walk around. What's wrong with this defense attorney? All of our daughters will be endangered walking around because these grown men be like, I didn't know she looked like she was 18. She looked like she was 18. That's bull crap. I don't know what the laws are in California, but in New York State, that is not a defense. It is actually in the law. They actually put it in the law. That is not a defense. Ignorance of the person's age. As an adult, it is your duty to say, well, how old are you? It is your duty to say, how old are you if you are an adult? It's a duty. Now, what is a defense is if the person goes out of their way to prove to you that they're an age that they're not. So if she showed him ID that look real, that says, well, I'm an adult, and if she's coming over to his house and nobody's looking for her and it's no big deal, then he can have a legal defense. But it is not enough for somebody to tell you that they're 19. It's not enough. It's not enough. You have to be able to prove that the person went out of their way to deceive you. Otherwise, once again, all of these pedophiles will be victimizing our daughters, and we won't be able to ever get a conviction because they'll just say, well, she told me she was 19, so what do you want me to do? In fact, in a place like New York State, all she has to do is tell you she's 17, because 17 is the age of consent in New York State. So you don't have to front and say, oh, she told me she was 19 or 20. You could be 50 years old, and all you have to do is say, well, she told me she was 17. You really think that our legislature would allow dudes to run around, sleep with young girls, and all they got to do is say, oh, she told me she was 17? Sorry, doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. So this the defense attorney is 1,000% wrong. And guess what she is? She's a defense attorney. Her job is to stand up for those people. So this comment in no way surprises me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not disrespecting her. She's a very accomplished person and I respect her professionalism, but she's 100% wrong. Now, if she said that if Celeste deceived him by showing him fake ID and all this stuff, then I'll say, okay, she has a point. But just by somebody telling you that they're 17 or 19 or whatever, that's not enough. Let's keep going. All right, let's go on to the next exhibit. Now we're going to talk about these security cameras. We're going to start at the 3-minute mark. Let's do it.
By this own, the house's own security system, but by the neighbors. And I'm sure LAPD has either subpoenaed or voluntarily collected all that footage already. And the question becomes, had too much time passed to where they still have it and it didn't overwrite. But as you can see, like this house here has a 360 camera right on that pillar. So that would capture anybody coming and going from this area. And this is where the Tesla was parked. We even see it on Google Street View parked, right here. So likely that would capture it. And also these are high-end security systems. They capture sound as well. A lot of them, not just video. So there could also be audio that could.
Wait, hold on here. How is he making that assertion that they capture sound? I'm just asking. I'm not saying he's wrong. He's there. Maybe he sees a mic on the camera, but unless you're viewing the surveillance system, and also when he says high end, how does he know that they're high end? Like I've gone to scenes where there are expensive cameras, but they're attached to cheap DVRs, and so they're not recording. People have changed their camera system out, but they've not changed their DVRs, or they changed their DVRs because they wanted to upgrade on their storage, but they didn't change their cameras because they had the cameras professionally installed, and they don't want, to now spend the money to have an electrician go up there and, change out the cameras and rewire and all that stuff. And so now you have 480p and 720p cameras streaming into a 4K DVR. So you're not getting high resolution footage into this expensive DVR. Unless you look at the actual footage, I think it's a little bit of a stretch to kind of say, hey, I'm pretty sure that it has X, Y, and Z. I don't know. Let's keep going.
Capture what was going on, in the house or right outside the house. The Tesla was normally parked right here. The exit from the house is these gates right there where the trash cans are. And then if we just walk up here a little bit and to the left is where, it was left for, what I've heard is more than a month, with her body in it, which is tragic to think about. But it was parked very close by. Again, these are all very high-end homes and with a lot of security. There's more
And
cameras.
somebody made a really good point. Mimi made a good point. I encounter this all the time when I'm doing my investigations. Sometimes people will have dummy cameras. They'll have fake cameras, especially in the age of wireless cameras. I have some wireless cameras as a part of my security system. I'm trying to like convert, because I got Google cameras and all of them can either go wired or wireless. So you can either use a solar power to power these cameras. And when I first set them up, I did a lot of solar panels. Now I'm slowly running wires because I'm trying to make it look professional with the conduit and all that stuff. And I do all that stuff myself. But a lot of people, especially in the advent of these solar powered cameras, will just have dummy cameras. And you see the camera is not hooked up to anything. It's just a deterrent. So how do we know what's a dummy camera? We don't know.
It's right there.
And just to let you know, I don't have any dummy cameras, so don't think of anything, because you will be saw. You will be observed. And if you do the wrong thing, you might be shot too. But let me keep going. All within the confines of the law. Let's keep going.
So I think that they'll be able to piece together the movement of the vehicle, and along with the vehicles.
And then Foxy Amazon says those multi-million-dollar homes, all of them are real. Yeah, you sure about that? Because my municipality that I do my business in is probably one of the richest areas in the nation. And guess what? I find dummy cameras there too. Let's keep going.
Its own systems, whether even if you didn't have Sentry mode enabled, the car will still capture that GPS data of when it was started and stopped, and where it moved in the last time it was turned off. And it'll also show how many passengers were in it because the seats measure the weight for airbag reasons. So I think there'll be a lot of data garnered. So then where the car will be, it'll be right down here. And here we have a house that's got all kinds of security.
It looks like the community is getting better and better. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure where he started out was definitely a multi-million-dollar house, but you could see the difference in the class, the upscaleness of the area he's in now. You see that the much more manicured landscaping. It looks cleaner. It's brighter. It just looks much, much better now. And in no way am I saying where he started out is low class. I certainly could not live even in that area. You also saw a lot of pedestrian cars, Nissan, stuff like that. You didn't see a lot of high end. Now where he's at, this looks affluent. This looks gorgeous, beautiful. Look at this. Porsche. You got over here is an Audi. You got the Range Rover over here. Now we talking.
So this corner is where
look at that beautiful house.
The car was parked and impounded from. So I imagine it's one of these neighbors that ultimately made the call to Department of Transportation to have it towed. And
I love this walkthrough. I really love this walkthrough. Definitely loving this walkthrough, ladies and gentlemen. This is good stuff.
Right here, it was just past the red curb, parked on the right here. This exactly it. Right here. This is where she sat likely for more than a month in the front of the Tesla.
Okay.
Right here, people, walking by. Doheny's a very walked street. This Bluebird is a little less walked. Maybe that's why it took a little longer for it to get called in, but eventually it did. This is literally it. This was her, tomb for.
All right, so we'll skip ahead. Really good stuff. Really appreciated that walkthrough. We're gonna skip ahead to Celeste's friend talking about some important information about David. Skip ahead. Let's do it.
Producer Courtney Kolinsky, who spoke with those kids today.
So we talked to a student that went to school with Celeste, and she did confirm that Celeste showed a few classmates photo.
Hold on. Before they talk about the classmates, even the chat is making mention of this. We have 581 people watching right now. We only have 386 likes. Please hit that like button, guys. Number one, it's not easy doing what I'm doing. My voice is gone. I can't even get my voice back because I keep doing the show and blowing my voice out. My voice is gone. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time. By the time I'm done with these shows, my stomach hurts like I just did 1,000 sit-ups because my diaphragm is working hard, talking and projecting into this mic. It takes a lot of research and a lot of time to bring this to you guys. And we do it because we love you. We do it because we want to give a voice to the voiceless. We want to speak for Celeste. We want to speak for all of the victims that we cover on this channel. And this is a labor of love. This is a small YouTube channel. All right, we're doing this for the love of it. So please hit that like button so we can get into the algorithm so that this show can grow. We appreciate you. We love you. We respect you. We hope that you support us by doing that small little thing, hitting the like button. Let's keep going.
Of her and David. She said that she was in a relationship with the singer David, and she wasn't shy about telling the few people in this classroom that she had a relationship with David, and even showed photos of him. Now, this is the little bit of information that we've actually been able to get, and we have talked to over 100 students. We have asked them if they knew Celeste, if they've seen Celeste. A lot of the students have confirmed they went to middle school with Celeste. They knew of Celeste. They heard she went missing. A lot of people said, I remember her beautiful curls, but out of all of those people, nobody, besides the one thing I just said, nobody really knew Celeste. They just didn't know her personally. Even the parents, a couple of the parents would see her, but nobody knew her family, nobody knew her personally that we've talked to that were at the school.
David has not been charged with anything. He is not a suspect. He is not even a person of interest. But that does not mean that he's not preparing to be one. Earlier on my News Nation show, Banfield, I spoke with Alexandra Kazarian. She's a high-powered criminal defense attorney from Los Angeles and part of the firm Garagos and Garagos. Here's our conversation.
All right, so this is like, let's keep going.
Conversation about what David might be facing right now. Alexandra, I keep wondering, and you're the perfect person to ask, what is David doing as we speak, especially now that we know Blair Burke is on the team?
He better be shutting his mouth. He better be absolutely quiet. He better be at home, wherever he is, doing nothing, not going anywhere, not talking to anybody, and just doing everything that she tells him to do, which is just sit there until I tell you what to do.
But what about the full download? Is this attorney saying, David, I need to know every single movement? Or is this attorney saying, don't tell me, I don't want to know, I just need to do my job?
Personally, I never ask until I need to, because that's not the point. The question is, what is the evidence that they have? What is the evidence that's out there? And I don't ever want to, there may be something that my client...
No, I'm gonna skip this. I want to go to more information on his high-profile attorney. I think that's very probative. If he is charged with a crime, he is innocent until proven guilty. If he's charged with a crime, this is the woman that's going to be defending him. That means that the LA County District Attorney is going to be going against this heavy hitter with unlimited resources, because you're not going to spend $100 million on your defense. All right. The most he needs to spend on his defense to have the most top-notch defense is maybe $1 to $1.5 million. After that, he doesn't need to spend no more than that. Okay. He has that in his bank account. He has $1.5 million in his bank account. All right. I'm not saying that D4VD is a tens of millionaire or 100 millionaire. He's not. All right. He's starting out, but he has $1.5 million. He might have to liquidate things, whatever, but he has $1.5 million. So he is going to be able to put forward a very robust defense if he's charged. And so this is the woman, this high-flying, heavy hitter of a defense attorney who's going to be defending him. I want to know more about her.
He hired a high-profile criminal defense attorney. The hire might be strategic, especially as there's so much speculation going on right now. First, you have the reports that Celeste and David were allegedly in a romantic relationship, even though she was still a teenager. Celeste's mom said that her daughter's boyfriend's name was David. Then you have the matching shh tattoos both David and Celeste have on their fingers. The fact her body was in a car registered to him. He was spotted in a resurfaced photo in Celeste's hometown of Lake Elsinore. He had unreleased songs where the name Celeste was mentioned. He posted a music video earlier this year of him dumping a corpse in the trunk of a car as he portrayed himself as both the killer and the victim. Is it too many circumstances that make up one big coincidence, or is there more to the story? But who is the criminal defense attorney coming to his defense? David has reportedly tapped Blair Burke to represent him amid the ongoing investigation. Burke is known for representing other famous faces like CeeLo Green, Bruno Mars, Lindsay Lohan, NFL player Darren Sharper, and so much more. Now, it's important to note here, David has not been publicly named as a suspect or persons of interest in Celeste's death. In a statement on Monday, a spokesperson for the Los Angeles Police Department said, "The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined the cause or manner of Ms. Rivas Hernandez's death. As such, it remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body." So it seems like maybe the LAPD is looking into this case as a concealment. LAPD Captain and Commanding Officer Scott M. Williams told People magazine the police department's robbery homicide division is still probing the case. He told the outlet, "We know that the Tesla has been parked at the location from which it was towed for several weeks. So it is very likely Celeste Rivas Hernandez has been dead for several weeks prior to her body being discovered." Captain Williams also confirmed LAPD officers conducted a search at the home where the Tesla was towed. On September 18th, about 10 days after Celeste's body was found, officers were seen recovering evidence from a rental home in the Hollywood Hills. The property was reportedly rented by David's manager for a whopping $20,000 a month. Law enforcement confirmed they did recover a computer and other evidence.
Yo, these guys be wasting money. $20,000 a month, man. Like, you're not even like a superstar. I'd be just renting a regular apartment or something in like a gated community. Big shout out to the Rabbit Lady in the building. What up, Rabbit Lady? Down the Rabbit Hole News. Go check her out, guys. Great channel. Appreciate her coming through for showing love.
2 days after the search, David and his manager, Josh Marshall, moved out of the property. David's manager did release a statement recently about all the speculation online he's been seeing about the case. He wrote on social media.
So Mimi said that the manager acting like he wasn't staying there as well. I don't think that the manager was staying there. I don't think so. This guy is married with kids. He lives across the country. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this manager didn't know that D4VD was messing with this girl. But, you know, why would his manager be staying with him for? I don't understand what benefit would the manager have in staying with him. Manager has other clients. Why? I would have an intern do that. Like, why does anybody need to stay with you? You stay there in your own devices. You're doing your own thing. I don't understand why the manager would need to stay with him when he's married with kids and his home is in Florida. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, could he have stayed there for when he's out there for business? Okay. You know, if I'm the manager, you know, I got you up in this mansion. We're about to sign some contracts. We're about to work over your tour. You know, I'm going to come over for 3-4 days. Why am I staying at a hotel? I'm your manager. I'm like basically like your father, like your brother. Why am I staying at a hotel? You live in a mega mansion. I'm renting for you for $20,000. Mind you, D4VD is paying him back that money. The manager is not putting him in that mansion for free and paying that $20,000 out of his pocket. No, many of these stars, their manager will put their names in most things so that you can't look up where the superstar is living. You're not going to find them in public records. If you look it up, you're only going to find the manager's name. Don't get it twisted. D4VD was paying for that house. The manager was just fronting his name to keep the privacy of the superstar. That's common practice. They either do two things. They put it in the manager's name, and if it's real property that they want to own, of course they don't want to put real property in their manager's name. They put it in an LLC that belongs to the superstar. It'd be like John J. Productions, you know, Unlimited Productions, Unlimited LLC or whatever. And little do you know, that belongs to Tom Cruise. I just made that up. It's not real. That's how that works. So I definitely would not believe the manager if the manager said he never stayed at the house. I'm pretty sure when that manager was meeting with D4VD for business, he stayed there overnight, of which he probably would have seen Celeste, in my opinion. No facts to back that up. But to say that the manager was staying there full time, what sense does that make? What about his family? What is his wife, chopped liver? What is his kids? His young kids, what, they chopped liver? They don't need to see their daddy? Of course not, man. It doesn't work that way. Let's keep going.
This is the only time I'll speak on this matter, for now. This has been a tough time for my family as I am a father of 3 children. I received no emails and I'm no one's roommate. I live full-time at home with my wife and kids. My daughter is 14 and this news is affecting so many lives. I never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything and I don't live in California. Also, I work remotely 95% of the time, and my job doesn't require me to have much interaction with any of my clients / David, as there are many others that work with him on a day-to-day capacity, not me. This news is tragic for so many and for her family. I hope the proper authorities get to the bottom of it soon. Let me remind people a lot of this is speculation and alleged. In the meantime, I am with my family helping them emotionally get through the news of this tragedy. Please report on factual information. The speculation surrounding the case has taken the investigation to another level. A day after the rental home was raided by police over in Texas where David's parents live, officers swarmed his parents' home after getting calls of an active shooting.
I'll go out wide and keep you covered. You want to tap the door? Just wait for me. Because I'm going to keep you covered. Go ahead. We got you covered. Come right here. There's too many windows. Here, knock on the door. We got a phone call from here saying that somebody was dead. What? Is there somebody else that lives on this property that has your address? What's your address?
All right, we're going to go to the next exhibit over here. I guess I'm starting to call them exhibits. We're going to the next exhibit. We're going to start this one at... All right. Let's start this one with the Nancy Grace.
D4VD, a.k.a. David Burke, goes radio silent as the Celeste murder investigation boils over. This is a Celeste body double rocks the investigation. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. There is a dead body in there 150 feet away from his house. Her body was in advanced state of decomposure. It's not just a car. This is a car containing his girlfriend's allegedly dead, dismembered body. As we go to air tonight, David Burke, a.k.a. the artist known as David, but spelled D4VD, okay, whatever, remains radio silent as the murder investigation into the little teen girl found in his Tesla trunk boils over. Joining me an all-star panel to make sense of what we are learning tonight. But first, a new theory rocking online sleuths and beyond. The theory that there is a body double being used. Let me explain the theory. Melissa McCarty joining us, investigative reporter, host of Killer Genes, and author of a book, The Making of a Crime Reporter. Melissa, the working theory is that don't poo-poo it. Melissa McCarty joining us. What is the body double theory? What's the story, Melissa?
Nancy, definitely plausible. I've seen similar elaborate cover-ups in other cases. Now, the sleuthing is they're pretty much stripping everything he's ever done online. And one of the things, not only the two Celeste theory, but is he using a body double? Are there images of her surfacing online to make it seem as though she was alive and messing up the timeline?
This is really good news because there were girls that looked just like D4VD's girl Celeste. That wasn't Celeste. Even I was getting confused. The girl inside the music video with the curly hair looked just like Celeste, and people saying that's not Celeste. He was using body doubles, and that throws off the timeline because she might have been rotting away in that trunk, but he got this other curly-haired girl that looked just like her, and we thinking she's alive, man. This dude is diabolical, man. I'm telling you, there's something about this guy that is like sociopathic, like crazy, psychopathic, evil genius, man. I'm telling you, this story is the most riveting story we've covered all year. Like, the Madeline Soto case was sad, but Stephen Stearns was a dummy. This guy is a evil genius, in my opinion. He had body doubles. And so these girls look just like Celeste, so we don't know who's Celeste, who's not Celeste, when was Celeste around, when she wasn't around. They're saying the girl that was on the balcony that we thought was Celeste was actually one of his super fans that looked just like Celeste and had VIP tickets. So where was Celeste? The girl he was doing the hearts to at the balcony. Where was Celeste? Where was Celeste? Let's keep going.
These are conspiracy theories, but they are plausible at the same time. So it's something that the LAPD is going to have to continue to, investigate. But it's confusing for the mass to follow with all the new tidbits coming about from the sleuthing.
Joining me now is Steve Fisher, missing persons private investigator, search and rescue specialist, and owner of Search Investigations.
You know, the funny thing is, like, you got like older teens, 17, 18, where they start to come into their adult face. She that's not even the face she was going to have in a few years. She was such a baby. She still have a juvenile face. She had a face of a baby. That her face would have changed and matured into her womanness in a few years. He was messing with a prepubescent girl, basically. She's not even the person she would look like if she was allowed to live. She had a full, like they said in the chat, a full baby face. Like Mimi said, she had a full baby face. A full baby face. Look at this. That's a baby face. That's not even like a teenage girl face, like a 17 or 18-year-old, a 19-year-old. That is a baby face. That's disgusting. Let's keep going.
With all the new tidbits coming about from the sleuthing.
Joining me now is Steve Fisher, missing persons private investigator.
That's the picture I wanted right there. Look at the baby face. There's nothing mature about her face. There's nothing adult. There's nothing mature. That's why you can't even say, oh, she told me she was 19. That's why most laws in pretty much, I believe every single state in America will not allow you to say, well, she told me she was 19. Because the law also encompasses common sense. The law is not devoid of common sense. Common sense would tell you that if you looked at her, she had a juvenile face. Common sense will tell you that. That if she came up to you and she said, oh, I'm 19, you say, yeah, get out of here. You a baby. Prove it. I want your social security. I want your birth certificate. I want your driver's license. I want all of that. She had a juvenile face. Let's keep going.
Search and rescue specialist and owner of Search Investigations. Steve, thank you for being with us. Number one, a lot happening in the case boiling over. I wonder why D4VD, aka David.
All right, so somebody made a good point. So Toshika Harajuku, I don't know how to say that name, says, okay, but why does everyone keep putting emphasis on the fact that she was 11 when she first became acquainted, but no one puts just as much emphasis on the fact that he was 15? Well, Toshiku, because that's against the law. Because if you are 15 dating an 11-year-old, you're committing a crime. You can go to jail for that, to juvenile. That's not acceptable. That's not a gap in age that is permissible in law. In New York State, that's a crime. I would lock you up. I would lock you up if mommy and daddy came to me and said, my daughter, my 11-year-old, is having intercourse with a 15-year-old. That is a crime. That's why, because it's wrong. It doesn't matter if it's wrong. And guess what? I was 15 and other people in this chat was 15. And I looked at 11-year-olds like they were babies. In all my hormones and my raging hormones and me wanting to explore and understand sexuality and all that at 15, I never looked at an 11-year-old and said, ooh, she looks good. I think I want to experiment with her. I looked at her and said, oh, that's a baby. That's nasty. She's 11. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you. And I'm not trying to disrespect you in any way. I'm just saying, I'm answering your question. It's against the law and it's nasty. Let's keep going. And guess what? So you got older, right? You met her when she was 11, you were 15, and now you got older, and now you're 20 and she's 14. Well, at some point you needed to know better. And at some point you needed to say, you know what? I'm kind of too old for you. Maybe I'll leave you alone. And also, we don't know if they were intimate at that age. We do know that they were pretty much intimate, in my opinion at least, when he was 19 and she was 14. So maybe they were just friends when they started talking at that age. At some point they got intimate. At some point he was supposed to say, you're too young for this. You're too young. Let's keep going.
Burke has remained totally silent. He's on social. Don't worry about that. He's busy deleting negative comments. So I know he's alive and well, but he's saying nothing about the disappearance and death of this little girl, Celeste, found in his trunk. I wonder what his father, the lawyer, has to do with that, if anything, his decision to remain silent as it relates to Celeste. But this new theory... And
I'll just address this one last time because, you know, people have difference in opinions. There's nothing wrong. Tashiku has their own opinion, and we appreciate other perspectives, especially on this channel. As long as people are respectful, we always appreciate our perspectives. But I'm going to just answer this one last thing. So Tashiku says, well, we don't know if they were ever intimate for a fact. Well, we do know that they did a live stream, and she basically said, is it complicated, the fact that you're raping little kids? That's what she said out of her mouth. I don't know. You read into that however you want. I'm not going to address any more. Not disrespect. I just don't want to call out any one person, make them feel like I'm picking on them or something like that. Not in any way. We're a welcoming community here, and we appreciate everybody. But confidential. That's what she said. Confidential. It's confidential that you're raping little kids. Yeah. Okay. You draw from that whatever you want. Let's keep going.
It has spreading like wildfire that there is a body double Celeste. Many of these are posted by him. Now, these are not the same girl. It's not her. But yet, it's posted all over his internet social postings. She has been spotted at various functions. What do you make of it?
Yeah, they look remarkably alike. And like you said, she has shown up at, there's been backstage concert photos of her. And, you just use being tagged as Celeste, and I believe that girl's 22 years old.
Yeah, Aki said confidential, but I think she said controversial. I think you're wrong on that one, Aki. But anyway, let's keep going.
So whether it's deliberate or not, I can't say, but it's definitely...
And some people in the chat are saying that was about Epstein, but that's after the chat said that they're going to put D4VD on Epstein's list for messing with Celeste. Got to pay attention, people. It's all connected. Let's keep going.
Interesting that...
Bring him up, please. Okay, Steve Fisher. I don't rely on crystal balls to prove a case. I don't expect you to guess or surmise, read the tea leaves. What I'm saying, point blank, is it's been done before. And before we discount anything, it needs to be proven or disproven. The theory is that knowing Celeste is gone, she's dead in his Tesla. She's not reported missing. The car is not reported stolen or missing. Why? And then a Celeste body double lookalike starts appearing on his feed, on his social, and even at events. It's not Celeste, but it looks like Celeste during this critical time period. It's not a leap of faith to surmise. It is intentional. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Although I will say that girl did show up in some images even, back in 2024, but they were a lot more prominent in 2025. And so, I think that this could be a reason to explain, or for people not to be looking for the other, Celeste, but they look remarkably alike.
Is that what's happening here? We don't know. And recall, David Anthony Burke, a.k.a. David, a.k.a. D4VD, is presumed innocent under the law. He will be innocent. He is innocent right now until the presumption of innocence is pierced and overcome by evidence that proves beyond a reasonable doubt that he is in fact guilty. Now, I want to move on to this. Take a look at Celeste's little middle school boyfriend.
She said how her mom didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at. We were at PE, and she told me and my friend that she was running away. And she said it was because of her parents, and she was like joking about it, and she was like happy, like joking like she always was, and like it didn't seem real because like she was like playing around, joking about it, and the next day she wasn't at school, and then like that's the last time I saw her. My heart dropped. I was like, I don't know, I just couldn't believe it. I kind of had a feeling when I saw like the first thing. I was like, what if it is her? But I just like brushed it off. But when I saw it really was her, I was like, damn, I really knew.
That's from our friends over at TMZ. That's Celeste Rivas' little middle school boyfriend, describing how years in the making she had trouble at home, a very difficult home life. And it brings to mind a beautiful little girl, Madeline Soto, Maddie Soto, who had told friends as soon as she was 13, she was running away from home and living in the woods. And I couldn't help wonder why would a little girl want to run away from home and live in the woods. Then I found out Mommy's boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, her and taking videos of for years.
Yeah, we covered that. Very sad case. If you haven't seen our Madeline Soto coverage, make sure you go over to the archives. We have a Madeline Soto playlist. We'll never forget Madeline Soto. She'll always be a big part of our heart. It's very sad what happened to that girl. So, yeah, let's keep going.
Back as early as when she was 9 years old. No wonder she wanted to run away and live in the woods. Why did Celeste Rivas continue to run away from home? How did everybody know that there was trouble at home? As a matter of fact, on this occasion that she ran away from home, her sister went looking for her, even poking her head, the sister, into a liquor store, asking if they could look at the surveillance video and see if Celeste had walked by. And sure enough, Celeste was caught on video cam on the incident when she ran away from home. To Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter, what happened in that instance?
You know, in that instance, Nancy, we actually can see that Celeste is kind of doing a walk run.
Oh, hey, Dave, look at your monitor. We're showing the video the sister got from the store. And there she is, literally running away from home. Let me be clear. Celeste is not.
So basically, you got to think about the psychology. I'm sorry that I didn't have the volume all the way up. I hope you guys can hear that good. You got to think about
the liquor.
You got to think about the psychology of kids. We spoke about this before on this channel. We spoke about this with the Celeste case. All right, that children like safety. They like stability, and they're not going to run away to parts unknown if they're safe. Okay, if they're happy, if they're secure. Even if you're a rich guy that live in the Hollywood Hills, they're not going to run away from their home if they're happy with their parents and happy with their room and happy with their friends and their social structure. It takes children to feel unsafe to then decide, I would much rather tackle and embrace the unknown, dangers unknown, than to stay in the situation I'm in right now. And just like Madeline Soto wanted to run away into the woods just mere weeks before she actually was murdered, same thing goes for this young girl. This young girl kept running away from home. And I don't think that it was because she was enamored by some superstar guy who was making her live in the Hollywood Hills. I think it was because what the ex-boyfriend spoke about, the fact of a dysfunctional home. And I think it's important to understand the pressures that this young woman were facing living in the reality that she was living in. Let's keep going.
The surveillance video showed her going by. This little girl running away from home. And I got to ask, why? In this video from our friend Harvey Levin at TMZ. Now, what were you saying, Dave Mack? I just wanted you to see the video.
I just wanted to point out that, that video was at 7 a.m. That's when it was taken, at a time when children would normally be going to school. But so instead, Celeste is clearly kind of in a confused state. If you watch her stride, she's partially walking, partially running. It's like she's not quite sure what she's going to do. But that's the last they see of her. She takes off. And it's a fascinating read into the 13-year-old that is trying to figure out what to do. And as you just pointed out, Nancy, this is a child who spoke about being unhappy at home, not being treated well at home, and wanting to be away. And when I see her walking and stutter stopping kind of, and then running, it just breaks my heart to think of that child not knowing where to go, who she is, or what she should be doing.
Hi, guys. The Fed has...
All right, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward real quick to the 13-minute mark where SF investigators is going to mention that the family knew. That's his opinion based off of his investigation so far. We're here to react to it. Let's see.
With an older man. So those are all very disturbing facts that need to be looked into.
Melissa McCarty joining us, investigative reporter and host. Listen.
A friend of Celeste's mother, Mercedes Martinez, says the family was aware of the relationship with Burke. She doesn't know why they didn't ask where she had been staying. Celeste left again and went back to him. Someone called Celeste's mother and said, "Stop looking for her. She's fine." Take down social media post about Celeste being missing.
What?
She felt scared and took down a social media post asking for help finding.
Bro, somebody call, your daughter's missing. Somebody calls you and tells you to take down this stuff. You gonna listen? You gonna listen to them? Or you gonna call the LAPD and say, yo, listen, I just got threats to remove social media posts for me looking for my daughter. Let's be serious here, man. I'm telling you, man, this is what SF Investigates is saying.
Celeste.
I mean, Melissa, somebody calls me and tells me, don't look for Lucy. Take down the social media post. The first thing I would do would be star 69, their bony rear end, and find out who was calling me, threatening me to take down social postings about my missing daughter, number one. But that person was never reported to police, and they apparently took down the social media postings and quit looking. What happened?
They took down the social media posts according to Nancy Grace and quit looking. So somebody called and said, yo, stop looking for her. She fine. She chilling. She in the Hollywood Hills. I just added that last part. They didn't say that. But they said, stop looking for her. She's fine. And what mommy did. Now, mind you, they didn't say that, stop looking for her. We're going to kill you. Stop looking for her. We know where your other daughters is, and we'll take them and put them in the Hollywood Hills too. I'm adding that. They didn't say, we know where you are. We coming to get you. They just said, stop looking for her. She's fine. And allegedly, mommy took down the posts and stopped looking for her. Make that make sense. Let's keep going.
First of all, that's a very haunting call to receive, but I think it really goes into the backstory of Celeste and what was happening in her home. It's clear there were a lot of issues either within the family dynamic or even...
I don't care what this beautiful lady has to say. I agree with Scrappy. I agree with Scrappy.
Oh, my God.
Because Scrappy got it right. They called her up, in my opinion, allegedly, this is my theory. They called her up and said, stop looking for Celeste. She's fine. Take down the social media posts. And what's your Cash App? That's what I think happened.
Oh, my God.
What's your Cash App? That's what I think happened.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. I agree with Scrappy. Scrappy said it right inside of the comment section. They wanted to know what that Cash App was.
Does that make sense?
And that's why the social media post came down.
Does that make
That's
sense?
why mommy stopped looking for her.
Does that make sense?
And that's why mommy did not call the LAPD.
Does that make
And
sense?
that's why she don't got no right to sue the LAPD, because how you gonna sue them when you didn't even tell the LAPD that your daughter returned home September 8th of 2024?
Does that make sense?
You didn't even tell them the truth.
Does that make sense?
You said your daughter was missing since March 2024 when she came back in September of 2024.
Does that make sense?
They're lying. She lying because she gave them the Cash App.
Does that make sense?
Let's keep
In the
going.
environment where she was living, for her to come and go seemingly as she pleased at this point. I think they were just used to her leaving. And, you know, they also do seem like a proactive family trying to find her
Put her
whereabouts,
up.
but then they didn't have any
Melissa
luck.
McCarty, I like you. I really do.
Nancy
Do you
about to
have
get
children?
you.
I do not.
Oh, you could tell. Her skin too tight to have kids. Kids suck the life out of you. Kids suck the age out of you. See, I look at her, I was like, this lady got to be in her 40s, but her skin look too tight. She don't got no babies. You can tell she don't got no babies. Because babies make you old, man. Nancy about to get you, lady. You better say you got to go do something. Say you got to go to Walmart and pick up some rice or something like that. Say something, because Nancy about to do you dirty. Let's go.
Well, you will one day.
But I
if
will
you're
say
as
this,
fortunate
Nancy.
as I have been.
I will say this. Those teen years, 12 to 15, they are rough. I think any parent and any teen would admit to that. Those are rough years. And the home environment, the social environment.
I don't give a flying
See? She tried to clean it up, and Nancy wasn't hearing it. Nancy, get her. Nancy, you let her talk too much, Nancy. Yo, if Nancy ever bring me on her show, I'm telling you right now, Nancy, if you bring me on your show, I'm going to purposely aggravate you so you can put me in my place. Nancy, she bad. Nancy, put her in a place. You let her talk too much. Put her in a place, Nancy.
You're not.
Well, you will one day.
But I
if
will
you're
say
as
this,
fortunate
Nancy.
as I have been.
I will say this. Those teen years, 12 to 15, they are rough. I think any parent and any teen would admit to that. Those are rough years. And the home environment, the social
I
environment.
don't give a flying
plays
fig
huge
about what
impact.
you're saying right now, and I don't care. Please mute her. I don't care how rough they are. When your daughter goes missing, you find her.
Does that make sense?
You find her. You do not allow your child to go as they please, like you just said. No. N-O. What?
No disrespect to her, but only a person who doesn't have kids. And listen, some people can't have kids. And some people don't have kids because maybe they don't find the right partner. And I think that's important. I got respect for you if you don't bring kids into this world because you didn't find the right partner and you don't want them to grow up in a fatherless home or a motherless home or an abusive home or whatever. Or if you can't have kids because that's just your lot in life, nobody should look down on you. I don't know why she doesn't have children. But it is not unfair to say that because she doesn't have children, she'll never understand that that's not something a real parent would do. A real parent would never give up on their kid. A real parent would never say, you know what, she keep running away, whatever. No. No. And that's why Nancy Grace is 1,000% right when she says what she says. Let's keep going.
I don't even know what you're saying.
What's up, Jax?
I'm concerned.
Backstory
Did you fall
of
and
a
hit your
family.
head? Are you okay?
I think there's a backstory of her leaving home for a long year, a period of time where at one point there's only so much a family can do. If they made all of those calls to police and nothing came of it, she would continue to run away
Made
from home
all of
despite
those
all
calls
the police
to police.
calls.
Okay, you know what, Melissa? I'm going to let you rest for a few moments, and I'm going to go to a specialist who finds missing people. Okay? Steve Fisher, you do not let a child go as they please.
Nope.
Now, when they become 18 or they move out of your home as an adult, then you can't stop them. They will go and come as they please.
Right.
And the same reason that you have to watch over them.
Even if they're 18, if you living in my house, we still got some rules because I got to protect you. Because something happened to you, who you calling? You 18 years old, something happened to you, who you going to call? This girl about to turn 18 in a month or 2 months. She's still going to have to follow these rules. Why? Because if something happened to her, who's she going to call? She may be 18, she may be an adult legally, but who's she going to call? She's going to call daddy. So if you're going to call daddy, if I'm the first call you're going to make, then you belong to me and you got to follow these rules. If something happened to me, the first call I'm going to make is not my mom. I love my mom. The first call I'm going to make is my wife. That's the first call I'm going to make. My wife. Because I'm an adult. So I hear you, Nancy, but even I'm going to disagree with you right now. 18 does not mean you come and you go. You want to come and you go to college out of state. Now you on your own. You on your own. But if you're going to stay in my house, you still going to follow my rules. The good thing for you is I'm a nice dad. I'm not some draconian dictator, dude. I treat my kids well and I let them have some measure of freedom. So you be fine in my house. But you still got to follow these rules. Let's keep going.
Is the reason they can't buy liquor. They can't buy alcohol. They can't enter into a contract. They can't go tell somebody, yeah, I want to buy your car. The minors cannot negotiate contracts. Why? Because they don't have the wherewithal, the maturity to do that. So even if I sell a minor my Lamborghini, and then guess what? They don't pay the car note, and then they wreck it, I can't sue them because I entered a contract with a minor. So when you hear Melissa McCarty state, well, you know, a lot of parents let their children come and go as they please. No, they don't. And what more could they do? Well, they could hire a PI. They could continue to call police.
Right.
They could put up the social media postings. They could go out and look for her.
They could just call her classmates. They could just go to her classmates and say, hey, listen, I know you were my daughter's friend. Do you know where she's at? Because all of her classmates knew where she was at. They could go talk to the teacher. The teacher knew where she was at. The teacher had the tea. He gave the tea to his whole class. They could have just gone and speak to her classmates and found out where she was at. That's it. That's all they had to do. They didn't care enough to do it.
The mom knew she was dating a guy named David. She's all over social media. I can see her. Can't they? Can't they see she is with D4VD, aka Burke? Yeah, that's what you do. You don't.
You couldn't catch him with his bonnet from a mile away. The dude wears a bonnet, for God's sake. No disrespect to God. Sorry for saying that. He wears a bonnet. You could have caught him from like 5 miles away. Dude got glitters on his eyes. Come on. Let's keep going.
Give up, play dead, roll over. No. I mean, could you school McCarty on what you do when your child goes missing?
Yeah, so this Celeste was just failed on so many levels when it comes to this. And I'll tell you, I have talked directly with people that in that neighborhood that were helping to search for Celeste and were told by family members to lay off because she was with a quote unquote family member in Los Angeles and everything was okay.
Okay, this is bringing to mind other cases. Let's talk about R. Kelly. R. Kelly.
Damn.
Who would
give... Somebody reach out to Nancy and tell her Strategic is coming on her show. I like Nancy. I'm a big fan of hers. I'm going to go on Nancy Gray's show. Nancy, I'm qualified. Active duty detective, Nancy. We can have a good conversation. Factual conversation. And then you can yell at me. And I will accept it because I love you. I want you to yell at me, Nancy. Somebody reach out to Nancy. She needs to put Strategic on the show. We love you, Nancy.
His victims and their families, expensive gifts, money. So he could basically keep these young girls as slaves. Then we've got Michael Jackson. Family after family after family thought it was just perfectly fine for their child to go sleep with Michael Jackson. Okay, Dr. Bethany Marshall, I know a lot of people think Jackson's innocent. I get that. I don't want to believe he was a child either because he was one of the most incredible.
Stop it. Mike Jackson was not a molester. I watched the documentary. Those dudes' claims do not add up. One dude said that Mike Jack molested him on a train. When you do your research, that train was not built for like 10, 15 years after Michael Jackson allegedly would have molested that kid. Allegedly, he was saying it was like, 14 or 15? That train wasn't built till that dude was like 25. They were liars. Liars, liars, in my opinion. Liars. One dude only dropped the lawsuit after the Jack family decided they didn't want him to be the choreographer for the Michael Jackson musical. Mike Jackson did not touch anybody. Period. Innocent, man. Let's keep going.
Music talents that ever lived. That said, he was there. So how do families get hooked?
He was weird. He thought he was a kid. He loved these kids. He let these kids come in his house. He has sleepovers with these kids, but that does not mean he was a pedophile. Mike Jackson was an innocent soul, man. We love you, Mike Jackson. Strangers in Moscow. Na, 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 like a stranger in Moscow. Or about how does it feel? How does it feel? How does it feel? How does it feel when you're alone and it's cold outside? I don't have no voice. Let's keep going. I love Mike Jackson.
Hoodwinked into thinking it's okay for their child to be with an adult male.
Nancy, I think they get swayed by the celebrity. They're not protective. They don't understand that they have a legal duty to their children. Reminds me of a dad in my practice once got into an argument with his 16-year-old, told the 16-year-old in session, if you don't comply, I'm going to kick.
Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. Hit the like button, support the channel. We need that support, guys. Hit the like button.
You out of the house. And I said, if you kick him out of the house, I'm going to call Child Protective Services because you are his legal guardian.
That's right.
You have a duty to put a roof over his head, to nurture him, to make sure there's food in his belly, that he's going to school. You do not let a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, 14-year-old come and go as they please.
That's right.
All is forgiven, Melissa. But just FYI to the world at large, no parenting advice from Melissa McCarty, who thinks children can come and go as they please. Yeah, no.
Don't worry. The moment she make her own baby, if that's what she wants to do, because it's her choice, the moment she make her own baby, whatever she thinking now is going to change as soon as that baby come out of her JJ. It's like clockwork. Guys, I never thought that I would be a dad. I wanted to be a playboy for the rest of my life. And the moment I met this beautiful woman who changed my life, and the moment she pushed out my first child, it's almost like it's spiritual. And all the parents that are watching this channel will know what I'm saying. It's like magic. It's like a switch flipped in my brain. It's like, nah, bro, everything I got to do in this world is for this child. My whole existence is for this child now. That's how it's supposed to work. I did not think that I would think that. And the moment that baby looked at me, the moment she looked at me, my whole life changed. That's what's going to happen for her if she decides to have children. She would not say what she said to Nancy Grace just now.
But to
Melissa.
my point, we really don't know what was happening in her home life inside the home.
Okay, I need you to tell me things I don't already know. That's why I have you. Okay, I know something was wrong. Even the little middle school boyfriend, you want me to play
hold on.
that again, said something was wrong in the home. She was very upset. She was very sad. She thought her mother was very mean to her and she wanted to run away. So far.
Big shout out to Melly in the chat. We appreciate you for supporting the channel. Big shout out. Let's keep going.
Neither of my children have run away or even said the words run away.
That's a fact.
Not yet. Okay. Now, I'm not
if
getting
any one of my kids tell me they want to run away, I failed them. If they're not mentally ill, they don't have emotionally developmental problems or something like that. If any of my children tell me they want to run away, I failed them. I have not provided them with a good life that makes them feel safe and secure. I'm not saying this for anybody else. I'm not judging any of you. I don't know your children. Some of you may have heard those words before and you don't deserve it because you're amazing parents. I'm talking about me, Strategic. Based off of the type of children that I have, if any of my kids tell me they want to run away, I, Strategic, would feel that I failed those kids.
myself a gold star, but I can tell you this much. If one of them disappeared, all hell would break loose. And I would not be sitting on my rear end watching reruns on TV while my son or daughter were unaccounted for. You darn right.
However, there were 11 calls to police. We don't know the context of those calls or who were calling. Was it Celeste? Was it the parents? I think this is a family that was trying. They were proactive at one point.
All right, let's go to the next one. News Nation, we almost done, people. We almost done. Let's go to the 18-minute mark. And then I got one more Nancy Grace after that I forgot to put up here. I'm going to put that one up there, and then we'll rock it out. 18-minute mark. We're almost done. We've been doing this for over 2 hours. I actually have some chores that I need to do that I haven't done yet. I need to do it before it gets dark. I got to do some power washing for the grandparents' chairs. He's like, yo, can you power wash my chairs, please? They're dirty, and I want to power wash them for them. So I got to get out of here. Let's do it.
You find these women dismembered in horrible situations, and the LAP just really did not know what to do with these investigations. I think that their PR and their attorneys are telling them to be quiet too. They just don't have enough information to give any kind of information out into the public. So I think that if you're an attorney for the LAPD, if you're an attorney for the city of Los Angeles, you guys say absolutely nothing. You say nothing until you know exactly what's happening. And in this case, I cannot imagine that there's ever going to be a point where we know exactly what happened.
I'll say you don't usually see a Tesla like this as beat.
All right, I'm gonna hit that one because we actually covered that one already. This is the last one here.
Breaking news tonight. D4VD, aka David Burke, goes radio silent as the Celeste murder investigation boils over. This is a...
Hold on. Bring this over here. My apologies, guys. And we're starting at the 29-minute mark on this one. 29. I think we're on this one, but it's good. It's cool. We have to make some adjustments on the back end.
Placing that bag into that frunk area, that little space that we saw earlier, and then showing, as you can see, that's the dash camera in front of the car and right by the mirror, and it's facing right down the front of the car. So anybody coming to the front of that car will get viewed pretty clearly, as you can see. And then there's cameras on each side of the car and the rear of the car too.
Melissa, how many days passed from, let's just go with the last time she was sighted in August to the day that her body was discovered?
I believe it was about 11 days.
11 days. Okay.
All right, real quick. Sharon Meyer says, one of my brothers, a state prosecutor, and according to him, a defense attorney generally doesn't want to know the truth about the client's crime. And he said same conflict of interest, so on. Okay, thank you, Sharon Meyer, for clarifying. Now, once again, I'm not an attorney, so I didn't know that aspect of the law. So thank you. You gave me some insight. Big shout out to Jennifer Flores with a $1.99 super chat. Says Nancy's hair holds all her wisdom. Wow, I like that. I like that a lot. Mary Hubbard with a $5 super chat. With if you're watching this on a podcast, it's a cartoon flexing some muscles saying the boss. I love it. Let's keep going.
Dr. Kendall Crowns is joining me, Chief Medical Examiner, Tarrant County, that's Fort Worth. He is an esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU, and he is now the star of a hit podcast, Mayhem in...
All right, we got 639 people watching this right now, only 559 likes. Let's bring those likes up. Let's get at least to 600, Let us get into the algorithm with at least 600 likes. We do appreciate it. We appreciate everybody who supported the channel today with the super chats and the likes, but we're trying to grow the show. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And we're less, I think we're less than 1,100 now. It's like I'm stuck right now. I'm not going to lie to you. Let me see how many likes I have. Show's almost over, so give me a second. I apologize on that. I want to see how many subscribers we have because we just kind of got stuck at it's really weird. Like we just got stuck. We stopped moving. And we're so close to the finish line. I don't know if it's the algorithm that's doing that to me or if we just need more engagement from our audience. But we're at 98,957, and we've just been stuck there. And we just need like 50 more to get to 99,000. Of course, 1,000 more to get to 100,000. So basically, we need 1,046 people to subscribe to the channel to get us to 100,000. That's not a lot, man. It's not a lot. And we're only going to get there if you guys as the audience are engaged, are sharing this with your friends and family, sharing this on your social medias, and hitting that like button and talking in the chat. And that's all we're asking for you. We're doing all the hard work. We're doing all the hard work. We're just asking you to just hit one button as you watch this show. Let's keep going.
The morgue. Dr. Crowns, how would rigor mortis or livor mortis affect the foldability of Celeste's body? And how can we tell by looking at the body what instrument was used to dismember her?
All right, so let's start with rigor mortis. Rigor mortis is basically the stiffening of the body after death. It usually sets in within a couple of hours, up to 6 hours after death, lasts about a day or two before it disappears. So when it initially sets in, the body is very stiff, and it can make it very hard to bend the body, but if you force it enough, you can still bend the arms and the legs and even fold the person in half. Then once you break the rigor, it can't set back in. So Will it make it difficult
Wait,
to put her
slow
in
down, slow down. Dr. Kendall Crowns, you're speaking to mere mortals like myself.
Mere
We're not
mortals.
all medical geniuses. You just said something about, I can't even repeat what you said, but I can ask a question. Isn't it true that after a period of hours, rigor, where you stiffen like a board, it's like cracking a 2x4 in half to fold a body like the legs or the arms that are in rigor. After a period of hours, rigor dissipates and the body again becomes malleable. Isn't that true?
Yeah, after about a day or two, the rigor will actually disappear. Starts in the small muscles first and goes to the larger ones. So it only lasts about a day or two before it's gone. But you can break the rigor by pushing on the arms or the extremities and folding them along the joint spaces. You're able to still break the rigor, and you could fold a person into a suitcase or a trunk or whatever if you need to.
Dr. Kendall Crowns, how long does it take? What's the person's killed for rigor to set in?
About 2 to 6 hours. It starts in the smaller muscles first, like your jaw muscles, and then spreads to the larger muscles at the end.
Okay, so you know what that says to me, Dr. Kendall Crowns? I think that whoever dismembered her did it very quickly after she was killed.
Yeah, I don't think she was put in a trunk. If she was put in a trunk, I don't know. LAPD got me second guessing every life decision I ever made in my life. I don't know if she put herself in the trunk at this point based off of LAPD's investigation. But I imagine that if she was put in the trunk, it had been very quickly after her losing her life. That's what I'd imagine. You know, they're kind of like panicking. We got to get her out of here, or I got to get her out of here. I can't just have her in the house. Just put her in the trunk. Trunk. Whatever. We're going to end it here. I got things I got to do. It's more than a 2-hour show. Some of you guys stayed with me the entire 2 hours. Wow. You guys are crazy. You guys are amazing. I don't even think I got that kind of fortitude when I'm watching other people's YouTube channels. Like, all right, I got something else to do. And you guys are here with me this entire time. That's definitely love, and it does not go unappreciated, man. You guys are crazy. I love you guys immensely. You guys are great. So, yeah, just make sure you hit that like button before you leave. Once again, we're trying to get as many likes as possible so we can show the YouTube algorithm that the show is being enjoyed by you, and so they can show it to a wider audience. Also, when some of these shows end, you will get the option to press a hype button. If you see that hype button, you must press that button like your life depends on it. The more hypes we get, the more opportunity we have of getting lucky and being placed on the YouTube recommendation page. And if we get on that recommendation page, we can get anything from 2 more subscribers to 1 million subscribers in one shot. It all depends on how many people decide to watch it on the recommendation page. It is definitely like a lottery ticket for a YouTuber, the recommendation page. So please hit that hype button. They've made it fun, and they've democratized the decision on who goes on the recommendation page by creating the hype button. So it getting on that page determines on if your audience is willing to hype you up. So please consider that when you see that hype button. Next, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who showed us some super chats. We got $2 from Rockman. Thank you so much, Rockman, for supporting the channel. Beautiful You is now a recruit member. Thank you for joining the family. And Kathy Margulies is now a recruit as well. Welcome to our channel, guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. And Heidi Zip is celebrating 1 month as a recruit. And I think I shouted out everybody who came before you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And so that being said, consider becoming a member of True Crime with Strategic. We have really awesome shows on the memberships, members only lives that are never posted for everybody else. We just finished a members only live and it was awesome. We had a great time on that live. They're kind of raunchy. They're kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. They're very inappropriate, but who cares? We're having fun. And of course, our Patreon is even better, where there are no limitations on the Patreon. It's just like whatever. Like when I say raunchy, I just talk about I crack crazy jokes. Maybe raunchy is not the right way of saying it. We just crack crazy jokes and we talk about these things raw. It is what it is. So consider joining the membership, and also if you want exclusive content that will go nowhere else, join the Patreon. So I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a great day. Definitely raunchy was not the correct word because we talk about serious cases and just words matter. Words are powerful. Words matter to me. So I take that back. I digress. But they are raw. All right. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.